Hello everyone, today is September 11th, 2024, and for this topic, it's about the Trump and Kamala Harris debate, and what I had to give my take on it for someone who hasn't watched it. And what do I think? For my true answer is, who won in this scenario? To be honest, both were pretty ridiculous. Kamala just keeps on using the same thing as she always does. Trump, I mean, some people like to claim to say that Trump, how do I say this? That Trump wasn't as aggressive as he was before, which is entirely BS. I mean, sure, I guess he was, so how would I know? But unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to get to some of us have to come out and realize that I don't think he did so well. I don't think he did. Was it intentional that they were trying to? I mean, it looked pretty fair from the news show that they were on. But what I think is that they were really just trying to push it, you know? And I know Kamala Harris is full of shit. I know that woman. I know that woman's full of shit. I know it. She's just been told to say all these stuff. And of course, there's one thing that I did say to some of you. Well, I don't think I mentioned this yet, but just a friendly reminder. Politicians always have a plan of what they claim to say. They always do. Always do. You know why Trump didn't? It's because he's not a politician. He's just addressing the issue. Kind of like what we are. Like, if I were to go up to the opponent, I would be only addressing about the issues at the moment. He said, oh, then you would just sound so ridiculous like Trump, not really answering the questions as much. Oh, I'll answer the questions. But unfortunately, I noticed that some of these people that were behind it claimed to say, oh, well, there's no actual proof of whether. Well, I bet the same people clearly said that Biden is like the best president, as they were trying to claim to say, oh man, this is going to be so great. Like, look at Biden. He's winning Georgia or whoever this state right now. Man, he's surely going to get a number on Trump. Yeah, fucking right. Because ever since that CNN debate, I'm pretty sure they were kept silent under that. And they were just like, damn, well, that didn't turn out well. Just as they always knew that. They always knew he wasn't great. They just been told to like pay. They were just been told and paid underneath the table to say shit like that. To make you promise that politicians is what we need because they have a plan. Politicians always repeat the same thing. What do you think Barack Obama said when he was in president or when he was running an election? Oh, it kind of didn't sound any different than what Kamala or what Biden would say, except, you know, we didn't have Russia invading Ukraine and what is it? And we also didn't have any risk of a potential threat of a second civil war on our hands. No, we didn't have any of that. All we got in return was slightly difference, but then it also went back to shit. So yes, I have a belief that Kamala will, how do I say it? She will fix slightly of it, but then it will just go back up because you gotta look, because here's the twist. I don't think any of us has even remembered what they would actually do in the scenario with Russia. They've been claiming to say, no, my feeling is, and like my prediction is that since they never talked about that kind of stuff, like, okay, what worries about outside that could actually potentially risk us, which we do. We always get ourselves involved in for no absolute reason, but to spread democracy and, you know, and whatnot, please. I don't think she'll do anything about the potential World War III that's already here. I don't think we'll do anything about it. I think at the moment it's going to rise even further because once Putin has enough and claims to say, all right, well, fuck you. He said, all right, well, fuck you guys. I know you guys are provoking this and I'm going to wage war in NATO. And of course, NATO's like, all right, cool. Hey, United States, we're about to go to war. And as the prices were going up, now it goes back to complete shit because now we spent funding on a war now. I know for some people made a claim, some people made a claim to say like, oh, what? Like prices were going up so well. What the fuck happened? I know. What did happen? What did happen? Oh, maybe we're spending billions and billions of dollars on military equipment now, and now we're about to get ourselves into a war. I think our intention is that we want to get ourselves into a war. We want to. Because it fuels our economy. How do you think every president like Bush, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Biden, maybe Kamala Harris, that will most likely be in the office, done the exact same similar thing, except they all went to war at the end. There was eventually a war. Barack Obama got ourselves into an endless, useless, pointless fucking war that after, even if we did kill out al-Assad, yeah, sorry. Al-Assad, yeah, sorry. No, sorry, Osama bin Laden. I don't know why I'm thinking of like Call of Duty. Osama bin Laden, once he was killed, no, the war never stopped. We never had to call any troops home. We just kept on continuing on with the war and whatnot. Yeah, endless drama shit, and it still got us in inflation. It's still dead. So I know what Kamala, we're about to be entering ourselves into a new world war, because this is what happens when you don't keep these powerful leaders on a leash, because they have rejected the treaty of what they should be really handling. It's not just NATO. Let's not just focus on NATO, because we also need them as well, because we're about to be entering into a new world war, which we already are. It's just a proxy at the moment. No, for some people claim to say, some people may tell me, that some people will just tell me, well, do you have any proof that any of this has happened? Well, fortunately I can, but it's so obvious why we're sending money over there and providing weapons over there. Even though Biden did claim to say, if we send like the Abrams out there, that would mean World War III, right? Oh, but we did send over there. Oh, but it wasn't shipped through us. It had to be shipped through Poland in order to get to Ukraine. Still making it involved, guys. Come on. Doesn't mean they pass it on to another country. Doesn't claim to say, and they're just trying to pinpoint their problems onto others, making you think, oh, it's not us, guys. I mean, we clearly knew it would be World War III. We basically are. And Kamala's not going to do shit about it, because I know she's just going to be following orders. We're going to get ourselves into a new world war. And yes, I have a feeling that a draft will come back by then. I haven't talked about it for a while, but maybe that's when it'll come in. Because, let's face it, politicians lie to you. Barack Obama lied to you. Biden lied to you. Bush lied to you. Clinton lied to you. They repeated the same thing. Well, Kamala isn't counted as president yet. But it's ridiculous. It is obviously ridiculous. Why are we just focusing on the ones that's happening in America? Oh, because this is how we get everywhere in life. Okay, but what about the war that will eventually affect everything what about the wars that we'll eventually get ourselves into that will somehow affect our grocery prices all over again? Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, didn't the countries do anything first? Yeah, well, of course they're going to tell you that they did something first, when they know damn well these powerful countries, just know when to not mess with us. They know it. They're smart enough. He says, well, Putin isn't all that smart if he's invading Ukraine. Ukraine was never part of NATO to begin with. But it's wrong for Putin to actually get involved, and Ukraine has every right to defend itself. We don't have to. What doesn't understand is that we shouldn't be the only one just providing that, because then they actually notice it's us, and they say, all right, well, we know these weapons are mostly coming from you, so cut it out. No, we're getting ourselves involved. So instead of Ukraine buying from us and the rest of NATO, like how it should be in World War I, because you're just the average, you're just the average, well, how do I say this? You're just the average buyer, sorry, not the consumer. The consumer would be more of just buying things from you. So Ukraine, I would really hope Ukraine would just be like the consumer and just buy everything from us, not everything, just the most important things that we need. Like, there's some restrictions that we can give away. We can do that. We have plenty of it in the world, so why do we need to keep all of it? Oh, because we know that eventually there's going to be a point where all these powerful countries are going to rise up against us. Okay, well, whose problem was that? I don't know, maybe promoting all that like gayness into the army, and it makes like a lot of people not want to join because it's really a trick, really. I mean, the military don't give a shit about gay people anyway. And even if they do recruit it just because they want to get at least some numbers, you're still going to get a weak military because you're so soft on them. A military should be strong, not weak. This is why some of the leaders make fun of like Biden when we really know he was elected on purpose. It wasn't not by the people. It was rigged. It was cheated. I know for some people who claim to say, they say, why does everybody keep on saying that it's rigged? It's not rigged. It's fair election. And you can't even prove that it's not. Well, can you prove that it's not? Well, can you prove that it wasn't? Oh, yeah, because the mathematical... A politician is going to tell you mathematical numbers and whatnot. Oh, go look up a government website and whatnot. Oh, but your politicians say Trump is a corrupt businessman and he's going to be a threat to democracy, but if he's all that, shouldn't he be thrown in jail? Oh, and if you claim to say he did all these tax frauds, shouldn't he also be thrown in jail? Why would I trust any justice system if they couldn't even throw Trump in jail, even though they claim to say, oh, we have everything on him? Okay, so why isn't he in jail? Why isn't he? Because we don't necessarily have all the... Okay, so you're just spewing shit out to the public. Yeah, very typical and basic. That's very basic. Both sides do it anyway. Both sides, Republican and Democrats, do it anyway. But if it's coming from one side the most, like Democrats, I'm not just blaming Democrats. I know Republicans will say the same thing. They say, man, Democrats are very bad people. They're trying... No. Both sides aren't even thinking right now. They're not. Kamala isn't really thinking besides just taking orders. And she's so calm about it, too, because she actually has the memory to name out all the important stuff. How do I say this? Was Kamala already prepared for this? Like, did she have to, like, I don't know, train for some of this stuff? Yeah, I think it absolutely was. I think she was very... Well, some of it was off of her by herself, but when she had to ask all these questions carefully and simple, which sounds so basic in hell. I know she's lying through her teeth. Do I think Trump will do any of that? I believe Trump can actually end the Cold War drama nonsense. We can actually get a good border again, and we don't have to get ourselves into another, like, war. We don't need to get ourselves into a war just because it fuels our economy. Stop it. We can make our economy better without just spreading democracy and acting like, oh, well, everything could be so great. Because that's what some of them want, because that's what some of these politicians want you to think. They want you to think that it's okay for politicians to say, yeah, it's okay to go to war because it asserts dominance and we can maintain peace in the world. Yeah, right. You're just encouraging violence. And they claim to say, oh no, Republicans are violent. If some of these politicians who are supporting Democrats claim to say, well, how do I say this? They are bought, they are controlled, and they're basically telling you to become hypocrites. Oh, but the right's so evil. Okay, but you didn't just realize that it's okay to go to war? You said, well, we have to go to war in order to restore dominance, right? I wouldn't care if we went to war with Putin. Okay, we don't. Okay, unfortunately for those who don't care that we go to war with Putin, let me tell you this. He has nukes. What do we have? Oh, yeah, we also have nukes, too. Yeah, but then, if it's a nuclear war, that means there's no winners. People expect that some of these brainwashed people will claim to say, oh, but if we just shoot them first, then we'll win. No, absolutely not. A world war does not mean anyone coming out on top. No one's a winner. Everybody's a loser. Everybody. We lose the war. If it's a nuclear war. Both sides lose. Because of the powerful weapons that they create and the powerful ones that we create, and we, like, launch that over to each other, and then that just causes more problems. Oh, some of these clean people can say, oh, but I love to go to war. I'm sure you do. Maybe you like to fight in that country. Oh, I'm good. I mean, yeah, even for someone who claims to say, oh, it's good to go to war. Okay, then why don't you fight for your country? For some of these people who say that, don't really want to go to war anyway. Oh, but you're being a hypocrite, dude. Stop acting like, oh, but it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that, because it's because of what some of these politicians claim to say, like Harris, that it's okay that it's doing it. Harris did not say that we should go to war. I don't think she ever addressed the fact that, what are we going to do with leaders like that? Are we going to negotiate? I doubt that Kamala's going to do as much. She's not going to do as much, Kamala, as negotiating. She won't. She won't do as much. She's just going to be like she's going to be one of those one-liner people, and that just says, don't nuke us. Don't do it. And then you get Trump, who actually says Well, it's hilarious to think about because someone did ask, like, what would be Iran's message if to invade Israel or whatever, or Hamas, and she says, don't. That's it. That's the only word. Don't. Because what did we do after that? After they did? Oh, nothing. We didn't do anything. Oh, well, people claim to say that Kamala is so good because she's going to be the first woman in office. That's not the reason why you should be voting presidents like that. Oh, because we need a woman. I'm pretty sure she'll make a difference. No, because she's a fucking idiot. She doesn't sound promising. She sounds so basic like how Biden is. Well, Biden was, how do I say this? I don't know. I mean, he wasn't all that great. Oh, because the news media finally admitted that he wasn't that great after they knew that before. I know for some people claim to say, he says, okay, well, what is one thing you don't like about Kamala? Well, because she's basic as hell. She sounds the exact same thing as no different than Barack Obama or Biden, because they all follow the same policy, and that is just politics. And they lie to you. And eventually, all that will lead to a war. He says, well, we're technically not in... Well, Biden didn't technically get us into a war. Yeah, right. We're in a proxy war. We already sent troops over to Ukraine to help them out. All right? It doesn't mean, how do I say this? We are getting ourselves into a war. We just like to claim to say, oh no, we're helping out them. Why are we sending troops over there? Why? Why are we doing that? Why can't just Ukraine just buy from it? But what if they don't have enough money to do it? Well, I'm pretty sure they could cope up with some money somehow. They could always loan. They could always do that. See, that's not so hard, loaning money, but then they would have to pay it all back. Well, if they could borrow money, well, think of this like this. If we could borrow money from banks and pay it back, or if we can rent out cars as we want, as long as we give it back, then what's the issue with with other countries doing the same thing? Oh, because they don't know how, like, America does it. Okay, then let them become a democracy or what that. Let them develop their own democracy. You don't need to influence that garbage on them. You don't need to do that because that's asserting dominance. And eventually, let's face it, if we did make Ukraine, how do I say this? If we didn't make Ukraine a democracy and a capitalist, then it would become one of our states. It would, because it would just be the same thing, right? If we claim to say, oh, but that's good because we want other people to be involved and whatnot. Ridiculous. But what do I think about the debate that I've never seen? In my opinion, Trump did do so well. I have a feeling Trump did do so well. Even though he was very respectful, I saw the opening. I saw the opening on some, like, news channels, like MSBN and whatnot. I saw how Trump was doing. He was very polite. He wasn't like an asshole where he, like, just wanted to get on with the questions and done and over with. He wasn't like that. He was fair. Like, he actually shook hands with her. He may have not liked her, but at least he was respectable. He says, yeah, but still. Trump is like... So he was like a maniac saying a bunch of shit that shouldn't happen and refusing to answer the questions. Well, let's face it. Most of these politicians do have a plan. You know why Trump doesn't? Because he's not a politician. This is why they claim to say they're brainwashing into thinking that we need politicians. No, we do not, because they repeat the same thing. They have the same policy that they follow. And they repeat almost the same thing almost every year whenever it's not Trump in office. Barack Obama had the same issue. Immigration, inflation, wars. What did Bush have? Immigration, inflation, wars. What did Bill Clinton have? Immigration issues, inflation issues, and wars. Seriously? No, like, seriously? And that's what we should do, and that's what we should do. Repeat the endless night. And then, no, of course, Biden's next. We could count Ukraine as part of a proxy. A proxy war means that we're involved. It's just not announced. They don't have to announce it, really, because they won't announce it anyway. They're just afraid that they might escalate into a bigger one. So, but I did have something in common. Immigration becomes an issue. Immigration becomes an issue. Inflation becomes an issue. And now we're getting ourselves into a war. Oh, a silent war. My bad. Some people could say, but it's a Cold War if you think about it. It could most likely be in a new Cold War. I think we're already in a new Cold War. But except we're actually getting ourselves involved into one. by getting through that country, though. I mean, technically that's how it is. I mean, in the Vietnam War, it was basically communism versus democracy. I think with Putin, he wanted to like achieve his plan, and that is just go back to his history and say, yeah, sorry, Ukraine was once. I mean, it was before, don't get me wrong, but they don't have every right to like take it back, really. The only reason is, and I'm pretty sure they had these plans out before. I'm pretty sure they have it planned out before. Most likely they did. But except Trump got in office and he had to intervene with those plans by ruining it, by keeping on close tabs. Now, Ukraine war didn't happen when Trump was in office, now did it? China didn't threaten to invade Taiwan, now did he? Now did they? No, because Trump had them in check. And they claim to say, but that's communism and whatnot. We can't allow that. He's negotiating with like communist people, and that's just bad for our economy. I mean, he's also talking about wanting to invade, wanting to like dispatch from NATO. I don't know if he said that or not. All I know is that he said that Ukraine should have to pay back all the stuff that we've given. Yeah, because all they did was provide so little, and yet we did. And plus let's face it, we actually pay for them too. We pay for NATO. Why? Why can't they just make their own money? Oh, well, because we're so generous and kind that we want to spread our own democracy. Okay, hypocrites, calm down. I know what these powerful people want. They just want to control everything that they around them. Anyone that's out of line and breaks business is obviously being shit on. Like Trump. Trump was in a prime example of breaking away from like the corrupt like line where everybody was following, except Trump was not a politician. He wasn't. Well, some people claim to say, but he was at the time, but now he's not because he's a businessman. He's a businessman. He's not good with politics because politics have the exact same thing in common, they have a plan, but they lie to you. They make you promise. They want to make you think that everything that they do is right. So eventually, they can end up making you repeat the same thing over and over again. Is oh man, she's so great. Oh man, she's so terrible. I think we should get our new president to come in. Oh, we got you. We got you. There's going to be another Republican line. His name is Ron DeSantis. Oh, great. Ron DeSantis, because he fixes it what some of the Democrats did, and then they go back to being shit. See, they're just finding people that they can control to make you think that, oh, but we're not selecting the people for the party because, let's face it, they don't give a shit about the party whatsoever. I know I've been ranting about a lot of things and whatnot, but I don't think Trump's going to win. And I do have to say one thing. Do I think the election, well, how do I say this in yesterday's video? Do I think they're going to hold Trump back? And it's either they will or may not. But I even predicted it before. I don't know why I thought like maybe they would try to hold Trump back. I mean, if he does have the numbers and he eventually wins anyway, even from that terrible debate, and they do it anyway, how do I say this? In front of that terrible debate, let's just say he did. Yeah, I believe they were going to arrange they were going to arrange something for him. I mean, do I think Trump is winning anyway? I believe Trump is actually up ahead in numbers. The only reason that they want to try to make you think it's not is because they're eliminating everything from Trump content. I would say that there has been more Democratic media in like ads than I would see with Trump. There has been more Democrat ads, and I think that's concerning because it's like the Democrats don't even want to try anymore. It's either this, these very powerful people are limiting the use of Republican advertisements to help promote that person, or the Republicans, like I said, don't give it two shits about it, and they are lying to you because they say, oh, well, we're with them, but we're slacking off on purpose so we can stall Trump. So basically, it's possible that their own party, that Trump represents in his own party, are slowing him down. What if it's on purpose? I believe everything is done on purpose. Do I think the debate was on purpose? No. I think that was the most honest, debate I've ever seen. I do believe Kamala had to, actually, do some training before she went into the debate. There's been some, but I very much believe that it's actually real. I mean, Biden had to before he went on CNN and made that terrible debate because everybody knew, like, oh, he's going to be great because look how everything he remembered. That still doesn't matter. They knew, like, how much of a shit show he was. And to show that Kamala Harris is lying, well, Biden's no longer in the picture. Oh, but he's still president. I mean, she's still the vice president and whatnot. Okay, if Biden's out of the picture, that means she's the new president right there. She's the new president. And whatnot. And I know for some people claim to say, you said, oh, but I think Biden's in there. Well, then, shouldn't the president be running? Nah, something doesn't feel right. No. Why would it be a vice president promoting mostly all the ads and winning and whatnot? Like, actually getting some decent numbers, but Biden couldn't. So something doesn't add up here. Because I think they already elected a president already there for you. I think they're actually intentionally trying to hold back Trump. Now they kind of think about it. I think they're intentionally trying to hold Trump back. They're trying to block everything that he is doing. But then I have mentioned before that it's mostly brainwashing material to make you think that most of the Republicans are now Trump supporters are now switching over to Democrats because all they did was promote the same ads. No matter how different it feels, but it all leads out to being the same thing. Go vote for Kamala. Whatever. But I think it's intentional of what they're trying to do. I think they are, and let's face it, they already selected a president for you. It just wouldn't be right if they just announced, hey, Biden dropped out, now it's Kamala the president. I mean, still, even if she is president, it has to be announced, it has to be won by votes. By getting through Biden's as well. So maybe if she ran on her own, without Biden's votes, without taking Biden's votes, she wouldn't go out so well. She wouldn't. I know realistically that all that was probably from Biden's votes. And I also think, and also a little bit of supporters as well, don't get me wrong. That I also think it's also because of the very powerful people that are blocking out Trump media ads as well. Some of them, not all of them. I know there's still some out there, but I've seen more Democratic views in the state of New Hampshire. In New Hampshire. So are we Republican? Are we a Republican state or are we a Democratic state? I think we are a Democratic state because, like I said, Chris Sununu is not a Republican. She claims to say that he is. Well, I don't know why the media claims to say that he is. But he's actually a Democrat. Like, he's a rhino, is what you would call a rhino. But, that's obviously ridiculous because I don't fall for that shit anyway. It's BS. It's more promotion to help support that person anyway. So, unfortunately, guys, I know for some people we're talking about, well, if this happens, if Trump doesn't win in this one, well, this is what's going to happen. Well, let me tell you guys that it's all done on purpose. It's going to be so obvious that they're going to try to do something if Trump even still has the numbers. They're going to do something about it. Even though they claim to say, oh, Harris won the debate, it doesn't mean she won. It doesn't mean if some people claim to say she won the debate, that also can turn around and just claim to say, oh, but Trump's getting the numbers again. He's now getting the numbers again. And then watch this. Then if they find out, they're going to be like, oh, what? I thought Harris was winning at that debate. What the hell just happened? And you know what? No, that's it. We're arranging a court date for him. We're gonna make all the excuses we want. We're gonna hold him back. You know, they're going to do that. I have a feeling that they might. They're going to do it. And then when they do it, by the time that Harris actually gets ahead, because Trump couldn't make his campaign speeches and whatnot, because he was under investigation, then that's cheating. That's cheating. They can't do that. But then you're gonna find out, oh, but guys, come on. Then America is done and fucking over with. It's done. Because it's obviously proven that this is what I worry about. We could actually potentially risk ourselves into a civil unrest, a rebellion, whatever you want to call it. And watch this. Once Harris wins, everything's going to forget about the Trump investigation. No one's going to give two shits about it anymore. It's just going to be a country where the very powerful people can allow whoever the hell they want to be. That's all it is. They want you to think that politicians are great to live in. No, they're not. They've been lying to you. Biden's been lying to you. Kamala is lying to you. Barack Obama's been lying to you. Bush has been lying to you. Bill Clinton's been lying to you. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. I know for some of you who probably want to watch this, I want to say thank you for some of those, because we have about 201 views, and I really appreciate that for some of you. But don't take this the wrong way. Guys, I'm not here to invoke violence. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that you have rights, and some of you shouldn't have to listen to politicians as they repeat the same thing over and over again. If you don't believe me, go back and listen to Barack Obama's speech, the way he handles the exact same crisis. Look at the way Biden handles the exact same crisis. You got to hear about what Kamala says about the exact same crisis. Everything's in a pattern. They all lead out to the same results, and it ends up being shit, no matter how new the character is. Everybody wanted to vote for Barack Obama because he would be the first black president. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Skin, gender, doesn't matter. It's all about making a promise, and it turns out they say the same thing, and it doesn't sound very promising to me because they said the same thing over the last 8 years, if more, which is ridiculous. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay smart, stay curious, all those kinds of things. And I will make other videos in my spare time. If it's not anything political, I have a feeling that this channel is mostly going to be political. And I've noticed that there's not a lot of views with other topics I want to try to get at. Not saying there was a lot of topics about, how do I say this? There was a lot of topics about, a lot of views about the president, about a lot of politics too. I'm just stating my opinion. I've actually do my research. I go by I just don't go by what the media tells me. And because I know they do it the same thing, you gotta be careful with news articles too, because they'll end up being the same thing as well. As long as it's, I kind of do everything outside of it. I always ask personal questions too, like, why does it end up being the exact same results as it always? Or why does this happen? Why do why? Who, what, when, how, and why? Those kinds of questions. And they refuse to answer it because they're repeating the same question as they try to make it sound like that they're answering it, but they're really not. You just end up repeating the same thing. Then that's an issue, because then that they're probably just lying to you, and they've just been told to say all this, just to been memorized to say this kind of stuff. And if they were to be told to ask if you ever cross the who, what, when, how, why, just refuse and just walk away. Don't answer it. But that's unfortunate, because they know that you're just being controlled to do this. But unfortunately, thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys some other time. And thank you for some of those people who are watching. Applehead, thank you. King Frank, if you're out there listening, man, I thank you too. But there is one thing I do want to get before I leave. I actually want to be in podcasts with very, very powerful people, like, I don't know if you want to call it Destiny, Shapiro, who most of the very noticeable ones, that talk about this kinds of stuff. I think me and Destiny, how do I say this? Me and him have different opinions, but I think we'll get along pretty much just fine. He has his own opinions. I have my own opinion. And that's what I want. I want to get along with people that don't entirely agree with me. I think that would be the best thing for me. I don't want to, unfortunately, if we say the same thing, that to me, it's just not as intriguing. It's not. I want people that actually have a different viewpoint that I do. And that way we can discuss something, see what's right and what's not right. And then from there, we'll see. we'll see from there. Maybe Shapiro as well. I like to talk to him as well. But that'll be some point in the future and whatnot. But enough of talking. Have a good day for the rest of you people. Some of you people.